respondent vice president made a public statement
I
which
know
is
where you're leading at, Counsel. Naunahan mo lang ako. I thought you were going to take up another matter, so let me cut you short. Yes. While the presiding officer was delivering...
Attorney Michael Wesley T. Poa, if the same should be necessary, as well as to Ms. Marisa B. Grande of the Philippine Statistics Authority, Your Honor. If given opportunity next week, these two shall likewise be presented on September 2, Wednesday, Your Honor.
Subject to the colatilia that should the other witness not appear, given that Attorney Poa is here and more than willing to testify as intimated earlier, then we jump to Attorney Poa. Should the other earlier two witnesses fail to appear on September 1, without need of issuing a subpoena to Attorney Poa. He is so informed in open court.
We submit to that, Your Honor.
So ordered. Other matters, yesterday afternoon, the prosecution filed a motion to set a conference for the marking of additional exhibits, particularly documents received from the Philippine Statistics Authority. The prosecution seeks to set the conference at 4 p.m. today. This is quite a simple motion, Attorney Sheila. The motion is granted. The clerk of court is directed to conduct the marking of additional exhibits at 4 o'clock this afternoon at Rector Room, and counsels are directed to send representatives to attend the conference. The presiding officer is also in receipt of a request from the respondent to be furnished with copies of the prosecution's pre-marked exhibits for Article 1, which counsel for respondent is likewise marked with the specifics. These being common exhibits, the request is hereby granted. The clerk of court is directed to furnish counsel for the respondent with copies of the requested pre-marked exhibits, with understanding that the panel of prosecutors will be accorded the same courtesy should a similar request on the respondent's marked documents be made in the future. So ordered.
Your Honor,
Yes, Attorney Sheila?
given that opportunity given to the prosecution to mark additional documents, I would like to avail of the same opportunity. And if the situation calls for it, we will ask for an additional setting for conference to mark additional documents in preparation for our presentation, so that in the interest of time, we can take advantage of these additional settings ordered by the court.
Let it so be granted without
Thank you,
need
Your
of
Honor.
an order being issued by the court, subject to the availability of the parties and the clerk of court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So ordered. Finally, we are in receipt of a prosecution's request for supplemental subpoena for other banks and financial institutions. I presume, Attorney Sheila, you got a copy of the subpoena?
We did, Your Honor.
The chair will simply adopt and apply its ruling last July 20, 2026 concerning the subpoena issued to certain banking institutions involving the same subject matter, and the same limitations will apply accordingly. The request for subpoena directed to the concerned banking institutions, I won't specify anymore because both parties have a copy, and financial institutions covering the respondent, her spouse, Attorney Manasseh Carpio, as well as 20 entities allowed by this court in which the spouses hold an interest, is hereby granted. It is clear that the subpoena does not include foreign currency, is limited only to peso-denominated accounts and not to foreign currency deposits, as these are excluded without the written consent of the depositor. The clerk of court is directed to cause the issuance and service of the subpoenas to the entities requested to so submit, who shall produce the required documents before the clerk of court in 7 calendar days from today, or on September 2, Wednesday, next week, 2026. So ordered.
Your Honor,
Yes, Attorney Sheila.
given the position that we had articulated on this matter of the subpoena with respect to bank records and other materials subject of that subpoena, we will just want to place it on record that we will be, or we are reserving our right to comment and to put our appropriate objections at the proper time. Thank you.
On the record, Attorney
On the
Sheila.
record, Your Honor.
Yes.
Your Honor, please.
And or seek further remedies as is available to you.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Outside of this court. Yes, Honorable Listro.
we would like to respectfully manifest to the Honorable Impeachment Court that almost simultaneously to the reading of the ruling of the Honorable Impeachment Court on the issue of sub judice rule, the respondent Vice President made a public statement
I
which
know
is
where you're leading at, Counsel. Naunahan mo lang ako. I thought you were going to take up another matter, so let me cut you short. Yes. While the presiding officer was delivering its ruling on the applicability, limitation, and who is covered by Rule 18, a statement was issued by the impeached official, the respondent, the Vice President, which clearly is covered by what the ruling earlier given by the presiding officer issued. So, given that it was done while the ruling was being issued, prospectivity would still apply. However, the presiding officer would like to remind, through the lead counsel for the respondent, her client, to kindly observe the ruling of the presiding officer as well as the rules of the impeachment court, specifically Article or Rule 18 on the subject matter in regard to making comments on the merits of the case, because henceforth, again, given the prospectivity of the ruling, the necessary actions will be taken against her not only by the court, but also, given that she's a lawyer, via what the presiding officer earlier mentioned in relation to CIPRA and in relation to the Office of the Bar Confidant. Kindly inform her, Attorney Sheila.
We take note of that reminder, Your Honor.
Thank you, Attorney
so
Sheila.
just it will form part of the record, Your Honor. May I be allowed to read that portion of the statement of
I
the
think
respondent
this is
Vice
unnecessary,
President?
Your Honor.
No need. Again, I find it unacceptable, and it will be commenting on the merits, and no need to read it in the records. The court can take, in fact, judicial notice of that, should it so desire. Senator Judge Aquino.
Mr. President, for the benefit of everyone,